Rams lost 14-10, but today, as we all know, when they're playing each other, it is another highly touted rookie making his debut. It is Tua time, Steve Weich. It's Tua time.
That's right, Rich. And Jared Goff said watching the film of that game of his debut would be cringeworthy. Tua is hoping that is not the case. Well, much was made when the Dolphins made the switch from Ryan Fitzpatrick to Tua Tagovailoa during the bye week. So I spoke to one of Fitzpatrick's best friends on the team. That's tight end Mike Gesicki. And he said, look, he was really hurt by this because Fitzpatrick and him are so close. But at the same time, they trust in what Brian Flores and the team's decision makers are doing and the culture that they've established. Plus, he said there's tremendous faith in Tua from what he's shown in practice and in meetings before the change and what he's done all of this week leading up to the game. So for more on Tua, let's send it back to Steve Mariucci.
All right, that's time for the Lowe's Home Studio. All right, we're going to start talking about Tua, but we're going to have a pronunciation class here, Irv, okay? Tua Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa. I'm just going to stick with Tua time.
Let's go to Tua time.
Tua time is cool.
All right, Kurt Warner, I ask you, how will he perform today in his first start?
I believe it's going to be a challenge for him in his first start, guys. It is, you know, not just because he's a young rookie, hasn't played a lot, didn't get the preseason, but it's really about the Rams defense to me. And I know everybody wants to talk about Aaron Donald, which is a big factor, but as a quarterback, you don't really think about those guys playing defensive line. You're worried about what happens on the back end.
Right.
If you watch the game on Monday night, this is an aggressive secondary of the Los Angeles Rams. They are going to attack the line of scrimmage, which is what we say, shrink the field for Tua. It's going to be tough to make those quick throws. Can you get some deep throws? Get him in the secondary because they're looking back at you? Yeah, you can get some double moves, but Irv, I don't know if he's going to have time with Aaron Donald and company to hold the football and get those double moves. So they're attacking downfield, and they're going to shrink the field on Tua. I believe it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, and Kurt, you know what I thought about, guys? I thought about, because, you know, I was with Chan in Dallas, and the things that I didn't think fit my skill set, because, you know, we ran a timing offense. I wanted to go up the field, use my big body and time it off. But Chan's offense was about dropping back, short passes, getting the ball out of his hands. And I said, well, maybe that's probably the best thing for him. You know,
no doubt.
Some of the Bill Walsh stuff. Yep. I mean, make sure he has some early success, what he did with Joe Montana. Make sure you have some early success. I want to give you some early, easy throws so you get a few completions, feel good about where you are. I think that's what they have to do. That's what they have to do. But it'll be tough to go up the field with Jalen Ramsey and all of those guys. And they're going to come after him. They're going to come after him and then play, like Kurt said, back on the back end hard.
Chan Gailey's first 15 they've got to be smart with it, okay? Yep. Get him some completions. Get him started, some success, whether that means throwing screens or quick throws or whatever that is, high completion percentage. Think about it, Kurt Warner, his first start. You remember your first start, remember? Yeah. And you look at it, oh, there's Aaron Donald snorting at you right there. Yeah. It's like, oh, my God. And then you look up in the back end you mentioned, there's Jalen Ramsey. That's my #1 in my progression. I got to throw against Jalen Ramsey. That's going to be tough.
But watch for this, too, Coach. Watch for this. Watch the sideline. Watch how those guys, everybody on that sideline, he'll have an early opportunity. He make early plays, they'll start gaining confidence in him as a young guy. Remember doing the same thing with Jerry when we were watching Dak Prescott. I said, watch the sideline. Don't just watch the field. Watch how many guys are coming up looking to get some hope in this young kid.
Yeah, my first start, I had Ray Lewis, Rod Woodson on the back end. I remember looking at those guys thinking, okay, this is the NFL. But I think you make a great point about something good early, because once you make a completion, no matter if it's your first game or your last game, you settle in. When things go bad early, now you start to press a little bit, something to watch for in that game.
All right, talk about good early. Let me send it over to Ian Rappaport in his library.
Well, thanks, Mooch. The New England Patriots will play without Julian Edelman today. He was placed officially on injured reserve yesterday. Here's why. He had knee surgery late this week on a knee that really has been bothering him the entirety of the season. From what I understand, his knee is bone on bone, so he had surgery to clean things out and ease some discomfort. But based on the IR rules this year, he's out at least 3 games. Coach Bill Belichick said he expects Edelman back this season. Talked to several people close to him. They have have their doubts on if that is the case. Either way, if he returns this season, he's going to be doing it on a knee that still hurts. Meanwhile, the Cleveland Browns are going to be playing today without Odell Beckham Jr., placed on injured reserve with a torn ACL. And, Rich, there's a very real possibility that the Browns and Odell Beckham will not continue this relationship after the season. If they do trade him, it would have to be when he's healthy, probably the spring or summer. And some of the reasons why Beckham and Baker Mayfield, the quarterback, have just not quite developed the on-field rapport that is necessary. And plus, as we saw last week, they may be playing better without him.
Okay, so as we could see on your screen, we do expect for fantasy football players of Dalvin Cook to have him available. Those who are waiting for Aaron Jones to come back need to wait at least another week. Same with Miles Sanders, as the Eagles are using their bye week to make sure he's ready for the long run. And then Deebo Samuel out for the 49ers, but it appears that Tevin Coleman will be back for those who have him in fantasy football. More fantasy news and advice. Let's say hey to Kay Adams, and clearly we're still in the Halloween spirit this morning. So instead of sleepers, who are some of the players you shouldn't be afraid to start?
Before we get to that, are we getting some costumes on game day morning, Rich?
Yes, they are lurking in our rundown. I think I am even going to be wearing one later on. So that's something to look forward to. Yeah.
Oh, they convinced you, huh? I love that. Okay, I'll let the organ dun-dun-dun music take it away. Let's talk nightmare on NFL storyline street, shall we? Le'Veon Bell gets to face the Jets today. I was intrigued by his debut as a Chief, averaging 6.5 yards per carry. Whoa! To me, there's just no way Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy aren't going to find him a way to get a touchdown against the Jets. You might as well dress him up as Uma Thurman with a football instead of a shiny sword, because I think he does score today, even though I must say the Jets are a bad matchup. They've allowed just 2 touchdowns to running backs all season long. Still, I am so here for this narrative. Flex Le'Veon Bell today. Let me give you another running back. Don't be scared of the rookie who's coming off back-to-back 12-carry games. Jonathan Taylor is also coming off a bye. He's coming off a game where he averaged 5 yards a pop, 55 receiving yards as well. I trust the Colts run-heavy offense. I trust that they're going to get him more work, and he'll be involved in the pass game if it gets out of hand. The Lions are 3rd most generous to running backs over the last 3 weeks, so no Kenyon, no David Johnson, no James Robinson with buys. Go ahead and play him. Last but not least, Lamar to Marquise Brown. This is a beautiful thing. Hollywood is just 45th at wide receiver on the year, behind guys like Russell Gage and Tim Patrick, but the Steelers can be thrown on. It's true, they've allowed 21 passing plays of 20 or more yards this year. That is good for 9th most in the league. If Lamar and Hollywood, Rich, can connect on even 2 or 3 or even 1 huge deep shot in this league, you'll go from being scared to celebrating a win in a hurry.
All right, so which dynamic duo is in your stack of the day today, Kay?
I'm going to give you a couple of guys. I like this game that's going on in Cincinnati. Weather's an issue all across the league today. I'm a little less concerned with what's going on. You've got the Bengals hosting the Titans. I like both sides here. The stack I submit to you is Joe Burrow, who's making connections, really a developing bromance with his guy T. Higgins. A.J. Green, not a bad play. Super, super valuable on all the daily sites. But I would go Burrow and Higgins. I don't think the O-line's going to be an issue. And then I would run it back with Derrick Henry on the other side, because you can't afford to play Derrick Henry and pay for him using a salary cap if you get the discount on Burrow and T. Higgins. I don't hate Jonnu Smith on the other side. I don't hate Ryan Tannehill and A.J. Brown. I'd get as many guys in this matchup as possible.
All right, you like that. Okay, so you'll be back later with your fantasy monsters of the day as well. That's Kay Adams, so you can catch every single. By the way, congrats on your 1000th show. Congrats on everybody being back in studio.
Thank
we know
you.
what that feels like. That must feel like, again, like Christmas, I guess, on this holiday.